While everyone was occupied, Haiden and Kakashi continued their battle, but Kakashi's taijutsu skills proved formidable, leaving Haiden unable to find an opening. He eventually retreated back to Kakuzu's side, giving Shikamaru an opportunity to reassess their opponent. Despite facing Kakashi, who could hold his own in every battle, and Shikamaru, with an IQ exceeding 200, Kakuzu and Haiden remained relaxed and jovial, teasing each other. In the face of such adversity, Kakashi, exhausted from using Raikiri 4 times while in Sharingan mode, showed signs of fatigue. Realizing the dire situation, Kakashi acknowledged that they couldn't continue like this, and had to follow Shikamaru's plan to forcibly separate Kakuzu and Haiden. When Kakuzu saw Haiden being taken away, he remained calm, expressing only a hint of regret towards Shikamaru. It was evident that Kakuzu trusted Haiden's strength and was quite confident in his own ability. Can you imagine? An immortal monster with nearly a century of combat experience was easily tricked by one of Naruto's shadow clone, who came as reinforcement. Not long after, Naruto used his hastily learned and still clumsy wind release Rasen Shuriken to ambush him from behind, shattering all his cells and 2 heart. Even the last remaining heart was destroyed by Kakashi, the master of finishing blows, with Raikiri. In fact, Kakuzu's ability score in the character databook is only 65 points, clearly lower than Kakashi's 69 points. So, did Kakuzu and Kakashi fight above their level? Then, what was the reason that Kakuzu was able to suppress Kakashi using his multi-attribute masked monsters in their final battle? Could it be merely because Kakashi did not use Kamui, thus reducing his strength? Of course not. This actually proves from another perspective that Kakuzu's overall strength, without considering Kamui as an external aid, was superior to Kakashi in terms of taijutsu, as well as ninjutsu like his lightning release, which is more than twice as powerful as Raikiri, and his fire wind release combination jutsu. Kakuzu was stronger than Kakashi. Honestly, the strength Kakuzu displayed while fighting Kakashi was quite impressive. Among the Akatsuki combat powers, he was comparable to Kisame. In reality, the moment Naruto arrived, Kakuzu's death was inevitable, but what I didn't expect was that even in death, Kakuzu did not meet a good end. His corpse was taken back to Konoha, and became a subject of study at the Medical Research Center. How sad, living for 100 years only to be tricked by a young rookie. Kakuzu is done for. Now, what about Haiden, who was dragged into the Nara clan's private forest by Shikamaru? After Shikamaru released the Shadow Bind, Haiden unthinkingly swung his black spear at Shikamaru. Feigning injury, Shikamaru seized the opportunity to secretly make Haiden lick the blood that Kakashi had collected from Kakuzu earlier, allowing Haiden to perform his curse technique, which ended up destroying one of Kakuzu's heart. This blunder completely ruined the advantageous situation Kakuzu had worked so hard to achieve, making Haiden an undisputedly terrible teammate. Although Haiden is cool, it's because he sacrificed his head for it. Even when he knew he was being deceived, he only charged ahead recklessly, thinking solely of quickly killing Shikamaru. However, Shikamaru outsmarted him, leading Haiden step by step into a pre-dug grave, trapping him with a massive shadow imitation technique filled with explosive tags. Haiden couldn't move anymore, and had to accept Shikamaru's final judgment, being blown to pieces with only parts of his head and limbs remaining. Ironically, although the Jashin religion granted him immortality, it also cursed him, leaving him with nothing but endless killing and suffering as his only pleasure. Although Haiden is still alive, without nourishment, he will eventually die. So, this guy should be rotting by now. Time flies, and 3 years have passed. Sasuke had long been secretly mastering the Chidori Nagashi technique. At this time, Orochimaru also heard from Kabuto about the deaths of Kakuzu and Haiden at the hands of Naruto and his team. Orochimaru remarked that his decision to spare Naruto back then was indeed the right one. Now, he only needed Sasuke to learn the necessary skills, and the time for his transformation would be near. When that time came, both Konoha and the Akatsuki organization would be significant obstacles. The immediate priority was to continue weakening the Akatsuki organization's strength. With that, Orochimaru asked Kabuto to call Guren to deliver a message. On the way, Kabuto was ambushed by Guren. To defend against her crystal release, he had to use his best technique, the chakra scalpel, to fend off the successive attack. After exchanging a few blows, Kabuto revealed his mission. According to Orochimaru's plan, they still needed Guren to quickly select a few capable subordinates to complete the task together. As Orochimaru's #1 admirer, Guren immediately perked up at this. She ordered her subordinates to release all the prisoners in the base, who were originally used for Orochimaru's day and night research, letting them fight each other. A chaotic battle among hundreds soon erupted fiercely within the border base. Afterward, out of the 21 survivors, 16 of them seemed unwilling to obey Guren's order, recalling the painful experiences of their bodies being manipulated. Thus, on their way to the destination, they attempted to rebel but were instead trapped by Guren using her crystal release, crystal pentagonal prison, and turned into crystal powder. Only 5 others expressed their willingness to submit and serve. Guren instructed them to wait in place while she went to Orochimaru's base as summoned. On her way, she happened to witness Orochimaru gathering 1,000 subordinates for a sparring session with Sasuke. Hiding behind behind a tree. Gyurin was astonished to see Sasuke effortlessly defeat the 1,000 men without getting a single drop of blood on his clothes before walking away nonchalantly. There is such a character in Naruto called Gyurin. Do you remember her? Her crystal release is nothing short of spectacular. After Sasuke left, Orochimaru promised Gyurin that if she could successfully complete this mission, he might reconsider making her his new vessel. Later, when Kabuto was briefing her on the task, he inadvertently angered Gyurin. She immediately used her crystal release, sending shards flying around and restraining Kabuto. Kabuto thought to himself, I see, even without weapons, she can crystallize surrounding objects at will. No wonder Orochimaru holds her in such high regard. After receiving her orders, Gyurin instructed her 5 subordinates to transport Yukimaru to the lake where the Three Tails was located. During this time, the 5 reported that they had detected a group of 4 people and a ninja dog approaching them, likely from Konoha. Gyurin, upon hearing this, confidently declared that they would find and kill them all. After confirming the location of Kakashi's team, Gyurin first sent her 5 subordinates to engage with Kakashi's team as decoys while she observed from a high vantage point. When the 5 retreated, she used her crystal release to create a large barrier, trapping Kakashi's team inside. In this crystal barrier, even Hinata's Byakugan abilities were suppressed. Gyurin then used crystal release, crystal mirror, releasing 6 crystal clones into the barrier to capture the weakest member, Hinata, as a hostage. With Hinata unable to use her Byakugan, Gyurin managed to trap her from behind using crystal release, Jade Crystal Prison. Just as the situation reached a stalemate, Naruto arrived in time, using Rasengan and Wind Release, Toad Gun, Gamma Teppo, to successfully break the barrier Gyurin had set up. At this moment, Gamakichi sneaked behind and swallowed Hinata to rescue her. Gyurin was then splattered with ink by Sai. In the ensuing fierce battle with the Konoha ninjas, they witnessed the power of Gyurin's crystal release. However, Shino later found insects that could neutralize the crystals, changing the tide of the battle. Subsequently, Gyurin, along with Kabuto, discovered the location of the Three Tails. Gyurin fought the Three Tails multiple times. Although she was not a match for the Three Tails in raw power, her highest level jutsu, crystal release, Jade Crystal Wall 8th formation, could temporarily immobilize it. Later, Gyurin had a falling out with Kabuto over Yukimaru. During Konoha's mission to seal the Three Tails, she and Naruto were swallowed by the Three Tails, gradually becoming friends instead of enemies. Afterward, Gyurin and Gozu left Orochimaru by taking Yukimaru along with them. By the end of the 4th Shinobi World War, the 3 of them even visited Konoha to see Naruto. If Orochimaru had succeeded in obtaining Sasuke's body, combining his technology with Uchiha's power, who knows what could have happened. Personally, I was quite looking forward to Orochimaru's successful transformation. Unfortunately, things did not go as Orochimaru had hoped 3 years ago, as Sasuke no longer wished to offer his body. Ever since Orochimaru found a small white snake, a symbol of immortality, at his parents' graves, he became even more obsessed with scientific research. As an adult, Orochimaru made mastering all ninjutsu his lifelong dream. During the subsequent wars, Orochimaru's outstanding talent in warfare earned him numerous military achievements. The death of Orochimaru's favorite disciple, Nawaki, deeply shook him. He realized how fragile humans are. Believing he saw through everything, Orochimaru took an extreme path. With Danzo's strong support, he began various human experiments. While researching various forbidden techniques, he also started studying the techniques of immortality and the impure world reincarnation, which can bring the dead back to life. We know that even when Orochimaru was still in Konoha, he had always coveted Itachi's talent. This was because he accidentally witnessed Itachi's mastery of the Shuriken Jutsu with his incredible move. At that time, even though Orochimaru himself was considered a genius, he thought Itachi was being reckless. Just as he was about to step forward to save him, Itachi completed the operation perfectly. Orochimaru couldn't help but praise. This is the power of the Sharingan. This was a realm that most ninjas, no matter how much they trained, could hardly reach. Even a once-in-decades genius like himself couldn't match the talents of the Uchiha. After his secret experimental base was exposed, Orochimaru, ignoring Jiraiya's persuasion, resolutely defected from the village. Years later, in the Akatsuki organization, he met that boy who had once amazed him, Uchiha Itachi, once again. By this time, Orochimaru had already mastered the living corpse reincarnation technique and could no longer suppress his ambition. He launched a sneak attack on Itachi using the hidden shadow snake hands technique, but was caught in Itachi's Tsukuyomi and had his hand cut off. After the failed attack, Orochimaru left the Akatsuki organization. Facing Sasuke, a boy filled with a thirst for revenge, Orochimaru was well prepared. Opening his mouth, he revealed his true form, a giant white-scaled snake, which then transformed into a swarm of white snakes attacking Sasuke all at once. At this moment, Sasuke, who was very confident in himself, allowed the swarm of white snakes to envelop him. Next, Sasuke entered the second stage of the cursed seal. With a significant increase in his chakra, he quickly dismembered the white-scaled snake. Just as Sasuke thought he had killed Orochimaru and that the battle was over, the neurotoxins carried by the white-scaled snake's body fluids paralyzed him. Then, Orochimaru pulled Sasuke into a different dimension, used for the reincarnation ritual. In this space, Orochimaru was supposed to be invincible. However, Orochimaru's weakness was the mental attacks from the Sharingan. Even though Orochimaru's spiritual tendrils had completely enveloped Sasuke, a mere glare from Sasuke's Sharingan caused Orochimaru to suffer the same defeat he had faced years ago against Itachi. Using the power of the Sharingan, Sasuke reflected Orochimaru's attack back at him. After bidding farewell to Kabuto, Sasuke eagerly went to find Suigetsu Hozuki, who had been imprisoned by Orochimaru for a long time, and fulfilled his promise to rescue him from a container filled with nutrient fluid. Grateful to Sasuke for helping him find the decapitating carving knife, Suigetsu agreed to Sasuke's invitation, and the two headed to a secret southern base to persuade Karen, who possessed unique chakra, to join their team. Although Karen disliked Suigetsu, she had long been infatuated with Sasuke, so it didn't take much effort for Sasuke to convince her to join. Next, Sasuke and his team went to a secret northern base to recruit Jugo, the source of the Cursed Seal's power. Despite Jugo's generally mild personality, his homicidal impulses were uncontrollable when the Cursed Seal activated, making his recruitment challenging for Sasuke. When Sasuke opened the prison door, the rampaging Jugo punched him into a wall. Fortunately, Sasuke used the large wings of the Heaven Curse mark to block Jugo's attack. Since Sasuke didn't want to harm Jugo, he had to retreat temporarily. However, Suigetsu immediately wanted to fight Jugo. The intense fight between the two was eventually halted when Sasuke summoned a giant snake from his sleeve to restrain Jugo. Upon learning that the boy in front of him was the one Kimimaro had sacrificed his life to protect, Jugo's attitude towards Sasuke improved significantly, and he readily decided to join. With the team complete, Sasuke named their four-man squad Hibi, Snake, with the sole purpose of killing his older brother, Uchiha Itachi. Kakashi Gaiden was originally a side story in the Naruto series, but for some reason, it wasn't included until 100 episodes into Shippuden. This side story mainly focuses on the past experiences of Kakashi and Obito. After joining Minato's team, Kakashi quickly made a name for himself with an ancestral chakra short sword, becoming a Jonin at just 12 years old, the youngest Jonin in Konoha's history. On the day Kakashi was promoted, Minato's team was assigned the mission to infiltrate Canopy Bridge. During the mission, Kakashi, eager to test his newly developed jutsu, ignored his teacher's advice and charged at the enemy ambush. However, because his Chidori was incomplete without the Sharingan, it wasn't effective. Minato, needing to support the front line, entrusted Kakashi with the task of destroying the enemy supply route, leading the team with Obito and Rin. Along the way, they were ambushed, and Rin was silently kidnapped by Taiseki, who was a Jonin from Iwagakure, by using the hiding with camouflage technique. At that time, Kakashi, haunted by his father's suicide, intended to abandon Rin. Obito's words, "Those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum," made Kakashi realize his father's choice wasn't wrong. It was the era that was wrong. When Kakashi caught up to Obito, Obito was confronting with Taiseki. Upon seeing Kakashi's chakra short sword, Taiseki feared he was facing the White Fang of Konoha. This minor character ended up blinding Kakashi in his left eye. After Obito awakened his Sharingan, he swiftly defeated Taiseki. Kakashi and Obito then teamed up to defeat another Iwagakure ninja and rescue Rin. Unfortunately, Kakashi hadn't yet learned to finishing enemy and was struck on the head by the Kako's earth-released rock lodging destruction. If not for Obito's sacrifice, Kakashi would have been buried alive. With the right side of his body crushed, Obito had Rin use medical ninjutsu to transplant his Sharingan, along with its optic nerve, into Kakashi as a gift to celebrate his promotion to Jonin. He also asked Kakashi to protect Rin. Although Kakashi's tears streamed down his face, he had to stay strong to fend off the enemy and seek a chance for survival. However, he used too much force and broke his white light chakra saber, causing the White Fang's technique to be lost forever. But with Obito's gifted Sharingan, Kakashi perfected his Chidori. The commotion attracted enemy reinforcement, who quickly surrounded them. In this desperate situation, Kakashi confessed to Rin on behalf of his friend, but Rin had always liked Kakashi. Overwhelmed by the enemy ninja's attacks, Kakashi was on the verge of collapse when the fourth Hokage arrived just in time to save him. Ultimately, they destroyed the critical Canopy Bridge, cementing the reputations of Copy Ninja Kakashi and the Yellow Flash of Konoha. Anyone who has watched Naruto knows that although Itachi and Kisame are teamed up, Kisame is the one who actually does all the work during their mission. Even for such an important task as capturing the Four Tails Jinchuriki, Itachi merely stands aside and watches. It's clear that the Four Tails Jinchuriki only lost because Kisame drained all its chakra. Though Kisame remained unscathed after the battle, he was indeed quite exhausted. At that moment, it suddenly began to rain, and Kisame Kisame kindly suggested Itachi take shelter under a tree. Weren't they afraid of getting struck by lightning? Shortly after they moved under the tree, a summons from Pain arrived. Pain said, Itachi and Kisame, be careful. Sasuke, who just defeated Orochimaru, is now searching for you. After the warning, they then, following the order from the Three Tails to the Four Tails, they began the work of sealing the tailed beast. As soon as the sealing ceremony ended, Deidara couldn't wait to take Tobi and settle the score with Sasuke. Meanwhile, Sasuke, feeling the rain had refreshed him, was indeed searching for Itachi, ready to fight him at any moment. On another front, Kabuto, after losing his identity as Orochimaru's subordinate, was momentarily lost. However, despite Orochimaru's death, his research results remain. Without hesitation, Kabuto implanted Orochimaru's cells into his own body. The cells were so domineering that Kabuto's body became grotesquely deformed. At this point, he actively sought out Naruto and gave him the information he had collected on the Akatsuki. He claimed it was to thank Naruto for teaching him so much, but in reality, he was just helping himself. Without Konoha's assistance in dealing with the Akatsuki members, how could he get more bodies? Standing alone in the Akatsuki base, Itachi, upon learning that Sasuke had been challenged by Deidara, must have had mixed feeling. When Deidara found Sasuke, he first let Tobi take the lead, while he himself launched a surprise attack. Although the explosion hit Sasuke's position directly, when the smoke cleared, Sasuke remained unscathed, with only a charred giant white snake beside him. Seeing that Sasuke hadn't been killed by the explosion, Deidara wasn't disappointed, but instead became uncontrollably excited. After watching Sasuke and Deidara's battle, I realized that in Naruto series, chakra elemental advantages can indeed determine the outcome of a fight. This wasn't something I had noticed in previous battle. The key to Sasuke's victory over Deidara wasn't his Sharingan, but the fact that lightning counters earth element. This shows that Sasuke's Sharingan abilities at that time were far from Itachi's level, which could instantly defeat Deidara. The only audience for Sasuke and Deidara's classic battle was Tobi, who, like Itachi, was a great actor. During his fight with Sasuke, Deidara started by testing Sasuke with clay spiders meant for lower-level opponents. Seeing that Sasuke had some skills, he mounted his clay dragon and took to the sky, preparing to launch clay homing missiles to use his aerial advantage to win. On the other side, if Sasuke wanted to turn the tide of the battle, he had to enter the second stage of the cursed seal again. However, just as he was about to spread his wings and take off, Deidara destroyed one of them with an explosion. This forced Sasuke to launch a Chidori sharp spear attack, but it failed because its range was only 5 meters. Fortunately, Sasuke threw his Kusanagi sword, setting up a makeshift platform. With this, he jumped into the air and used Chidori to thrust again. This time, with the extra momentum, he broke through the spatial limitation, not only knocking Deidara off his clay dragon, but also catching him off guard with his shuriken manipulation technique.